Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Today, I want to talk to you about a long-going debate in any gym that you go to and in the fitness community. And that debate is, which is better, machines, weight machines, or free weights? Which one is better? I want to just kind of delve into that a little bit here today in this quick update. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what happens with resistance training. When you do resistance training, you put resistance on your muscle. You put resistance on your muscles, and you put tension on your muscles, joints, and soft tissue. Now, if that is coming from a free weight, that tension's coming from a free weight, you're pushing this way on a bench press, for example, right? You're gonna get tension on your chest, shoulders, and triceps if it's a free weight. If you're doing it on a machine, you're going to get tension where? In the same places, chest, shoulders, triceps. So the tension and resistance is going to hit the same places, and the muscle wouldn't know where that tension is coming from. If you ever heard of the company Nautilus, the inventor of Nautilus, Arthur Jones, one of his studies he did was on this muscle tension principle. And what he found was that the muscle doesn't know where the tension's coming from. So if I were to do a curl right now on a machine, and I did a curl with a dumbbell, the tension is going to hit the same muscle. Now the question is, which one is better and more effective? Which one's better and more effective? And I think it really depends on the individual. This comes down to the individual. So in all my years doing this, what I have found was that free weights give a different type of result in a different time period, and machines give a different time result in a different time period. So for example, if you were doing we'll start with the bench. If you're doing a bench on a free weight, you push the bar up, and then you resist the bar coming back down. Okay, so you don't have any help. You don't have cables. You don't have anything balancing it. You have to balance it all on your own. Whereas on a machine, you could push the weight up, and as it's coming back down, it's going to come down in the same plane, and you actually have levers and cables and everything controlling that bar as it's coming down. And there's also a weight stack there, and you can use different increments. So machines, due to the fact that they do a lot of the balancing for you, could be a good thing for some people. So if you have an injury, for example, you have an injury in your shoulder, your elbow, or something, machines generally, for the most part, you can adjust the increments a little bit smaller, and B, the balancing is done for you on a machine. So if you have an injury that you're trying to get through, the machine is going to be a little bit more of a controlled motion, and you don't have to use as many of your stabilizer muscles as you do with the free weight. So that would be a good thing in some cases. The free weights, on the other hand, you have to use all of your stabilizer muscles. You have to balance the weight on your own. You have to be a lot more aware of the mind-muscle connection with the free weight, because if you're not, you'll engage other muscles into the movement. So free weights versus machines, again, comes down to the basic principle of the muscle does not know where the tension is coming from. It's not going to know. So if you do 100 pounds and you're pushing it and you isolate your chest muscle, the chest muscle isn't going to know that the 100 pounds is from a free weight or a machine. However, if you're doing it on a free weight, you'll be using more stabilizer muscles in other parts of the body versus a machine. Machines generally are more isolation based. They're more isolation based. So if you're at the end of a workout and you really want to isolate that one body part, a machine is good for that. It's good for isolating, and it's also good for little increments of weight. The machines that I've seen, even nowadays, they'll have like 5, 10-pound increments, 15-pound increments. You can go from 20 to 25 pounds, 30 pounds. Sometimes they have a 2.5-pound plate you can stick on top of there. And so they're good for, I'm not even going to say that they're good for beginners, because free weights are good for beginners too. I think machines are good for certain scenarios. I think they're great if you're coming back from an injury, or if you need to isolate a muscle for whatever reason. And I think they're also good for convenience. You know, there's some people who just don't want to do free weights. They just don't want to do free weights. They don't want to go into a weight room. They don't want to deal with the people that might be there for whatever reason. It might be too crowded for them. So they prefer to just not have to deal with moving weight plates around, put them on the machine. So that's one thing. And then the other thing with it, honestly, is personal preference, just personal preference. But over the years, it's usually been that people will say that free weights are better than machines. And I don't necessarily think that they're better. I just think that they're different. I think that they both offer different things for different people at different stages of their lives, or even different phases of their workout. For example, a machine fly is different than a dumbbell fly. And it's kind of funny because nowadays I usually see guys in the gym doing more machine flies after their free weight routine, because honestly, it's a little bit easier on the joints. Overall, I've seen machines over the years. The results I've seen is that they're easier on your joints than free weights are. So a lot of people, once they do free weights, if you have an injury, my shoulders are bothering me, I can usually get away with doing stuff on a machine. Whereas the free weights, they're not as forgiving. They're not as forgiving. So, very rarely do I see somebody get injured on a machine. I've seen more injuries over the years on free weights than I have on machines. So I very rarely see someone tear a pec doing a machine chest press. But I've seen a lot of people tear a pec doing a free weight bench press. Because again, there's a lot more involved, a lot more control you need. It's a lot more of an explosive movement. Whereas on a machine, it typically starts back here in this position. So if it's too heavy, you're just not even going to be able to push it out of the hole there. So machines versus free weights, personal preference. If you have an injury, a machine is great. If you want to isolate a specific muscle, a machine is great. And if you want to do smaller increments of weight, a machine is great. And if that's just your preference, a machine is fine. Same with the free weights. If you want to engage more muscle, more balance, and get different result, a free weight is great. Free weights are going to take a little bit longer time for you to master those movements and get those movements down, because there's a lot more going on with your body and there's a lot more to pay attention to with free weights. It takes a lot more mind-muscle connection with free weights from what I found over the years. So whichever one you choose to do is fine, free weight or machine. Don't let anybody tell you one's any better than the other. Try them both for yourself and see which one works the best. As long as you're doing resistance training, you're going to build more lean muscle, bone density, and strengthen your connective tissue, which is the goal. And resistance training, again, is the same on a machine or a free weight, because the body doesn't know where the tension is coming from. It doesn't know where the tension is coming from. Hope this has been informative. Have a nice day.